This is a real-time episode. We've been hit by flooding. Now, when I say we, I mean Barangay Bagubayan. I live in Eastwood. I am on the 15th floor. I am not hit by flooding. Since I'm up at 3 in the morning and I know they've evacuated the barangay, which Bagubayan's our barangay, down by the river, we have 60 families, approximately 130 people at the gymnasium. It's a basketball court in the barangay. What I typically do at a time like this is, since it's lunchtime for me, I can either hit McDo or I can hit Pan de Manila. I will just buy food because I can't buy shampoo and diapers and stuff in the middle of the night. SNR is not open. This is what happens when there's a flood. I can't talk while I'm on the lobby of my floor because people are asleep and the doors are very thin. Waited to get in the elevator, time to take off and buy some food, maybe some water. I don't have a lot of time because I got to be back at work by 1. The nice thing about places like Eastwood is you can traverse most of it without getting rained on. I didn't bother with an umbrella. There is too much stuff to grab. What I'll do is I'll make it over to where the evacuation center is. I mean, it's a basketball court. I can get kids to come out and they will carry stuff. I'm too old to be carrying that much stuff. So I'm more of a organizer. I'm heading south towards the barangay. I know you're wondering how I knew about the evacuations. The weather report was bad, and I kept hearing megaphones from my condo. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but megaphones means that they are guiding people out of the barangay vans into the evacuation center. They don't make a lot of this easy. Like, I'm cutting over by the Lawsons, but they don't make the covered walkways linear. You have to kind of zig and zag. I can smell smokers out too. Normally, I will kick people out who are smoking because they have designated smoking areas, but if it's raining and there's flooding, let people smoke because, well, they're not going to make it to the designated smoking areas and not get drenched. Once I heard the megaphones, I went to the Facebook group for Eastwood and I confirmed that there was a call for donations. That meant the evacuees were in the gymnasium. Call center workers going to lunch. We are in a combined residential, retail, and office area. So yes, there are people going about their normal business, but it's funny, the bar area is off to the left side. There are people sitting outside drinking. Now they're covered, so it's not like they're completely outside, but they are drinking in the bar area while people are evacuating due to flooding. I'm being an idiot. I need to pre-order the food, so I need to head to McDonald's before I go to the barangay. Okay, that was the big cross with no cover. I'm trying to cut over to McDonald's, but there is a bit of open area. I don't want to risk the camera in that area, so I will just be shutting off the camera while I make the final wet dash. There you go. Thanks. Okay, here we go. I showed up at 3:30, but breakfast doesn't start until 4. The manager was really nice. She let me order 50 sandwiches in advance, and she promised to box them while I was off in the barangay recruiting kids. Okay, 50 egg and cheese pandesal. That was 3,000 pesos, which, it's like $55. It's not a big deal to me, but you've got a couple hundred people stuck, so we'll take care of them for now. Okay, we made the cut by Popeyes, Faux Pas, and Kenny Rogers, going by Dunkin' Donuts, but our quest is Pan de Manila. Okay, we've crossed by Dunkin', and now we're trying to stay as dry as we can, getting to Pan de Manila, where they'll get fresh baked rolls. I had an extra 30 minutes. I realized my meeting was at 1:30 p.m. PST. Pan de Manila is awesome because they have rack after rack of freshly baked pandesal. 9 cents for a large pandesal. I could get 100 for 900 pesos. They always have them in stock. Pan Manila, they had sold out for the night. They have sheets of them baking in the back, ready for the morning, so they will be out of the oven in 15 minutes. So I ordered 100. They're ordering 500. So we're not the only ones. If you get 500, you're going to be tabakuya. You're going to weigh like 200 kilos. I am by Uncle John's in the new Korean Mart. Time to head to the barangay. I crossed. So now I'm going down the alley to the barangay. Pasa, masulan. Okay, this is where the medical center is and the basketball courts. Ooh, and the senior citizens affairs. You're gonna have an affair with a senior citizen. Okay, there are the barangay ambulances. I didn't want to film in the evacuation center, so this is video from last year's typhoon during the day. Everyone is asleep at the evacuation center. I tried to recruit some 20-year-olds. They looked like office workers who were going to work. They didn't want to come with me, so I ended up grabbing some high school kids who dragged along little brothers. Probably the oldest kid's 17. The youngest is 8 years old. My army. Nah, I'm not a vlogger. I'm just, last year when we did it, so. We got to the bottom of the stairs and this Filipino guy looks at me with all these kids following me. Whoa! I just looked at him and said, "I'm kidnapping your children." He said nothing. Okay. Here's my army of people. We look good. Okay. We're gonna need 2 of you. Who's gonna get the pandesal? We need at least 2 people. Ate? 2 of these guys are gonna get the pandesal, okay? Who are the 2 pandesal guys? You're in charge, and you. Can you bring the pandesal back to the barangay? You know how to get there?
Yes.
Okay. These 2 are gonna get the 100 pandesal, okay? Okay. The rest of us, we're going to McDo. I picked the kids that I wanted to get rid of, kind of an 11-year-old and the youngest one who was probably 8. I just wanted to send the youngest kid back with food so it didn't look like I was doing anything perverted, if you know what I mean. I had McDo get water for myself and the kids. The kids were parched. McDo was great. They kept refilling the glasses. I ordered 10 orders of BFF fries. I wanted to send the youngest kid, who was 9, back to the barangay with one of the older kids. So there were a couple of fries to be eaten at McDonald's, and then the rest could be shipped back. The oldest kids remained so that they could take back the 50 sandwiches. McDonald's isn't stupid. They're going to give the kid the boxes, and the kids are going to make it back to the barangay, and I could head back home to my meeting. What did I talk with the kids about? They asked me how much my camera cost, and I asked what I ask every 9-year-old. Do you have a girlfriend? And all his older brothers and friends laugh. And then he says, no. And then I said, oh, so you have 2 girlfriends? And then they laugh more. And then I said, well, my daughter's 7. Maybe you could marry her. That's the kind of conversation you have with 9-year-old boys. I hope you found this informative. This is what the Philippines is really like. I made it home in time for my meeting. I checked up on my wife. She sleeps with the one twin who is still breastfeeding. I shut the door quietly and then made it to my meeting. Catch you in the next one. The official video is over with, but I wanted to explain the thumbnail. This year, no one died. If you look to the right side of the thumbnail, you can see 4 men standing on a barge. I don't know how to do a video that pays tribute to 4 men who died on a bridge that crosses from my barangay to Pasig. I am not that good of a YouTuber, but last year it was bad. And I've spent a year and I don't know how to make a video that doesn't exploit them and treats them with respect. But I'll eventually get around to it. But sometimes bad things happen, even in my own barangay. I had to pixelate the part where the four men were killed. About 1 million people watched that video, and no one picked up that they actually were watching four men getting killed. It's horrible, and nobody even noticed because they're not a nerd like me who watched it frame by frame. Out.